Nerdjitsu.
Everybody, welcome to episode 2, season 2 of Nerdjitsu. We're here with Tyler Milligan, gonna go over some Viking Norse mythology, his acting career, and a little bit of jiu-jitsu and video games. Also, Anthony the Viper Santiago.
The Viper.
I didn't pick that name, alright? We'll go into that during the later sections. Right now it's about you. We're here for you. We'll deal with that nickname when it comes time. But thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Alright, so Rob, go ahead, man.
Dude, tell us about how you got into this acting part. Like, what even made you transition to that? Because out of nowhere, I was just, oh yeah, Milligan, we trained at Pariah together, good dude. And then all of a sudden it's like, I see you coming out in like films and stuff on Instagram and shit. I'm like, what?
Well, I was in the Army and everything, and I hated it. You guys know.
Yeah, no.
It sucks. I didn't like it, and when I got out, you can only do so much when you're an infantry dude. So it's either security, cop. I was definitely not going to be a cop. Multiple reasons. But I decided I'm no longer going to do something that I'm not passionate about, something I'm not wanting to do with my life, because in today's society, we're stuck in this hamster wheel of like, we have to get a job, of course, we got to pay bills and everything, and so we get on this hamster wheel of 9 to 5, fast food or some shitty job, and we feel like we have to stick with that. In reality, we just need to pick what we're passionate about and just fucking run with it.
Okay, so on that, for example, I chose to go to film school while I was in the Army to try to make my life a little bit less miserable. But when I started looking for jobs, the field is flooded with would-be's, could-be's, and I had every intention. I'm talking, it went to better. I was going to Grand Canyon online, don't get me wrong, I was I'm in Dean's List. I was doing good in this film school.
You say D's list?
Dean's List.
Oh, he said D's list.
Yeah, D's List, but Dean's List, because I was doing good. But there are people that went to Full Sail and LA Film School and New York Film School, and they were not getting jobs. Everywhere I looked on their things, people were like, the job retention, the job after colleges were so low. And the last thing I was so, like you said, I hopped right in that hamster wheel. I'm like, if I don't get a job, I'm gonna have this degree that I can't get it. I was like, so what did it take for you? Did you just toss all that aside and be like, I'm going for it? Because that's what I didn't do. I was too scared to make the full leap, and so I was like, I'm gonna finish my degree in something safer.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of the old saying, scared money don't make money. You just gotta hop into it. You just have to, like, and especially being an actor in Colorado, you don't think, but he's an actor, he's probably from Colorado. Mm-hmm. You don't think that.
I was like,
it's really, really, really hard, and I'm on a pace right now that it sounds easy, but it's actually pretty fast paced for being in Colorado. I'm doing at least one film a month, and right now I'm actually above that right now. And you just have to eat, live, breathe what you want. And so when I realized one day, what do we all have in common? Whether if you're a homeless dude on B Street or you're a millionaire, billionaire on fucking Wall Street, what do we all have in common?
Want to be happy. Want to do something enjoyable.
We all got 24 hours in a day. And how you utilize those 24 hours is up to you. Billionaires, they utilize the fuck out of those 24 hours. Homeless people do not. And if you're out there and you want to try something, you have to utilize, and sometimes in order to be successful at something you want, sometimes you gotta fucking sleep less. And if you don't want to not do that, you don't want to be that successful, because you gotta do whatever it takes. And sometimes you can't sleep as much.
Good point to go on to the next one I got. What were some hurdles, like getting started and actually getting into your first film and like finding out how to get into film stuff? What were some things you had to overcome to do that?
Being in Colorado, people treat the film industry here like a hobby and not a career, which is that's perfect sense because this is not a really big film industry place. You got LA, you got New York, you got Atlanta, you got now New Mexico because Netflix has bought a studio out there.
Really?
And that's where there a lot of
Yeah.
the big
Pumping out
incentive.
a lot of new stuff. Like
Yeah.
every month. There's
And I
new
thought,
series.
you know, I'm gonna have to fucking move to these places I do not want to be at. I love Colorado, but it's not great for getting those a whole bunch of films. Like I'm gonna do a film a week, but I literally put out 5 to 10 auditions basically a day, and I get around 1, maybe 2 a month.
So are those auditions all online through sending in like
I
guess
have-
back in the day you send in your tapes like back in the day?
Well, yeah, I do. I'll send my stipulations are like I get invited for auditions. Like, yeah, we would love you to audition for this. Just come out here any way you can. And I was like, well, here it is. I will send a video audition to you, and if you like it, you gotta fly me out there. And that's more in case they're not gonna do that. But I've gotten it. That's why it was discovered on my Instagram channel, Last Hours Fighting. Right here. Go to that link.
Right there.
And then a SAG production, McKee Carpenter wrote More Mirror Saga. And More Mirror Saga is I think as one of my first real big breaks that I could actually possibility because we're trying to find the correct editor so we can make the trailer so we can submit it to HBO, Netflix, all those big people, and to see if we can actually get picked up.
Nice.
That'd be sweet if you had HBO. That'd be fucking awesome. But speaking of More Mirror Saga, you have a bunch of other films that you've been in. Can you tell us like a bunch of them, or are they still secret because they haven't come out yet? Like
No, I
genres
mean,
of them?
I'm not gonna act like I'm some big fucking name. I'm an actor in Colorado. I mean, mostly because luckily we have a film school, the Colorado Film School in Aurora.
Yeah.
Really?
It's real nice. Like,
It's really nice.
It's actually in one of the top 10 film schools in the States.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I
number 4
mean,
or 5.
it's fantastic, but I can only do so many student
Student
films where I'm like, I don't want to waste my time anymore. Because on the list that I gave you all of my films, I didn't. Ones I'm not willing to put on my resume.
Those are
So, those of you that may not know what a student film is, it is basically you are getting little to no money at all.
Zero.
Oh, so jujitsu.
Yeah, basically like our show. So, and that's where I was having a lot of trouble when I was in school is finding actors who are willing to do student films because obviously you got to eat, and the actors I was getting were not up to standard.
They're
So
not far.
if they're willing to do the free stuff, they're probably doing it for free. You're probably getting what you pay for.
And that goes into when you first start off, you have to. My ex is like, you should get a regular job. I was like, you should fuck off. I'm not gonna have a fucking regular job. Yes, it would be easier, but I'm not gonna get back on that. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grind this out. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be the first one there. I'm gonna be the last one to leave on set, and I'm gonna do it for free. And then all of a sudden, my name got rolled around. And I performed at Red Rocks. I performed. I performed on TV now. I mean, it's still in pre-production, but
You did a storytelling where it's all improv at Red Rocks, didn't you?
that was the weirdest, probably my weirdest gig. I got called like 10 o'clock at night, and it's like, hey, I'm so and so. Matt, one of the directors I had for a film. He says you're really reliable. You'll show up, and you'll be here, and you're really good at improv. I was like, sure. What am I doing? He's like, we needed you to be a time traveling thief for Seven Lions Group, the EDM band at Red Rocks. And I was like, sure, when? Tomorrow.
Rip.
Tomorrow, okay, sure. No script, no nothing, just a description of the character. And I show up and it was fucking weird. It was really weird. I got paid really well for it. Got to hang out with the band and all the other actors and stuff, actresses.
So
pretty cool.
going off to hanging out with the actresses and actors and stuff like that, have you been starstruck by somebody you've been on set or seen around set yet? Like a big name, you're like, dude.
What about? Have you been to any? You mentioned a SAG film. Mostly anybody who's not a film, doesn't follow film. That's Screen Actors Guild.
Right.
It's a very big deal. It's one of the premier things you want to be a part of. You can get a Screen Actors Guild award. It's pretty prestigious. So have you any events or maybe even like, I don't know, like I know they have galas and stuff like that. And you also do some, I see you, I don't know, I see you traveling everywhere, man. Like you guys are always at dinners or some sort of events or something. I'm like,
that's another thing. I don't, as an actor, especially here, or an entertainer, you can't say no. You just got to utilize those 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's, I've even said yes to burlesque. I've done burlesque shows.
I saw that shit.
Yeah, I did see that. I actually did see that.
I was the Joker. I was the Suicide Squad Joker, which I think is a more burlesque type Joker. And then my girl was Harley Quinn because she's a professional pole dancer. Like she actually not like a stripper, but she's competes and she just got second place at regionals.
I saw that too. I saw that post.
Yeah.
And the two of us, I mean, we're in perfect harmony when it comes to entertainment. She compliments. She even does my Viking reenactment stuff.
Yeah. I saw you guys did a photo shoot together not too long ago.
We do a bunch of it.
Yeah, I was like,
everything
hold up.
everything from naked ones to.
I'm like, what is this support and teamwork, man? I'm like, that's not how relationships work, is it? Like,
Yeah, it's different. Where you're
I'm
like,
like, what?
It's really different when you're like happy.
Yeah,
you know?
it's weird. Like, I was like,
Shit works better.
Yeah.
When
I was
you're
like,
happy.
isn't
sorrow eating
isn't
rocks
the
in the
other
army.
person supposed to be like pulling you back? I'm like, you
Yeah,
guys
I
are up there
thought-
like supporting each
Yeah,
other.
I always felt like women should just suck your soul, and she actually feeds it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
weird.
crazy. Yeah.
Really weird.
Sorry.
No, he's not wrong. Like I'm like, man, I'm gonna chase this jiu-jitsu dream. Do you know how many times they're like, why aren't you home? I'm like, didn't I say I was chasing a dream? Like Tyler said, you only got 24 hours, 86,400 seconds in a day, and if you're not putting every one of them to use, it ain't working. But
Or
if
24
you're in a relationship, you better be passing them hours out to everybody. And I'm like, unless they support you, and that's I don't know. I'm still waiting for it.
I'm happy I got Alex supporting me with all this and the streaming and stuff like that. But anyways,
What's the name of your streaming channel?
on Twitch?
Yeah,
Oh, Ruthless Rob.
Ruthless Rob.
Ruthless Rob.
Right there.
We'll put it above Tyler.
Right there.
Up there.
Yeah, you got a corner over there, so it'll be up there the whole time as you're pointing the wrong place.
Another question I got about your acting and stuff. So, is there like genres as an actor? Like, you're clearly a Viking-looking motherfucker.
Right.
Like, so you're not gonna go in there and be like a businessman in Wall Street or something, are you? Or
Bullshit.
is it
I
just
can do
wide
anything
open?
I fucking
Anything.
want.
That's right. What do they call that? Typecasting? You do not want to get typecast because then you only get offered a limited
Well,
amount of
here's the
roles.
thing. I know what my place is. I've literally done everything from corny Western films to I've even been in a film called Friends of Fury where I was a Viking fighting a white dude as a ninja. It was a last 48 film festival film.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, those are terrible. And
I've seen that actually. Yeah, you guys were at the park.
yeah. We won't talk about that one. And I've been like the bad, like I play a lot of bad guys, and then I've also done like a big brother who is a suicidal gay guy. Like I've done it all. Like actually, what a lot of people don't realize. Yeah, I can play the warrior, but one of my actual skill sets as an actor that comes naturally, I can actually full down cry, like full breakdown crying. And in my
I
film,
was wondering if that's real or if that's like you gotta put something in your eyes like.
Oh no, you can 100% fake it, but like mine are I'm more of a method actor, like a short term method actor, because when I mean short term, I don't take the character home with me. I shut it off.
Yeah.
as soon as it's done.
So not Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't Heath Ledger
Who
yourself.
live in that character.
And actually, it's good for acting, bad for regular life. I can psychologically lie to myself, where like you don't want to bring up like my old army experiences. I don't want to bring that up because those are real problems. Those are real things, and you don't want to use that to make yourself break down. What I do, I lie to myself. I pretend that if my 2 children died, and I'm walking up to their casket, and I'm giving them a eulogy, I'll fucking fuck myself up. And
You look like your eyes watered a little bit when you were saying it.
Also, it helps that I have clogged tear ducts. Yeah. I was meant to be an actor.
Born for this.
You wanted to throw out any movie names that you've been in before we move on to the next segment, or
Any upcoming projects that they can check out or
stuff
to
to look out
be
for?
on the look for?
Morimir Saga for sure. That's in pre-production, and we're almost done with the trailer. And I will be posting. I'll post that on my page, and then on Instagram, and then I'll even send a link to these guys.
We'll definitely have it on our.
And then I'm excited to see the movie Grasp. I played a tactical badass snapping necks. I was even supposed to be in the film, and they're like, I just really like the way you look. I'm gonna write your character in for you and give you lines. I was like, I'm okay with that. That's happened twice to me, where there was like, we just like the way you look, man.
Just the way
We're gonna give you lines, like, but I don't do extra work. I'm not gonna be in this if I don't have lines. He's like, well, I'll write some lines in for you.
Nice.
I was like, okay,
That's a good
that
standard.
is,
Force yourself in there.
yeah, because I know what I'm worth. Like, you
Yeah.
gotta know what your self worth is.
Exactly.
And if I'm gonna do it for free, I gotta get something out of it.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, like if you don't know how they do the movie extras, they keep you in like a little, it's almost like a little cage, and you sit there away from the real cast, and you sit there, and you're only allowed to come do what you're supposed to do, and you go back in your little cage, and they might feed you, they give you your little extra pay, and then you're on your way. So,
I only did extra work just to network.
Yeah.
Say, hey, if you need any guys that look like me, do it. And that lasted like 2 times. Then I'm only gonna do supporting or lead.
I just remembered one. You almost got on as an extra in Vikings, didn't you, for season 6?
That was actually one of my first gigs. I got a call from the casting director to be, to at least to be an extra at minimum, but they're gonna give me an audition to see if you would like me for something other than that. And I'm not even joking. Daily online, it's like, you look like that Bjorn Ironside.
He's a half mustard.
Oh man.
Yeah, I know I look like Bjorn Ironside, Alexander Ludwig. I even tried contacting Alexander Ludwig to be his like a stand-in for him, but I realized I do not like being called Bjorn. I'm my own thing, and the whole typecasted thing, I know my place. So like when I put in for roles that need this look, I usually get them, no matter where it's at.
So my question is, if somebody needed a short-haired, beardless.
Right now, I've been asked to shave and cut my hair, but my price is 10 grand and above.
Mhm.
You gotta pay me at least 10 grand to shave, and then my hair is more.
I need to tell that to Allie. Next time she wants me to
Well, I understand it, because you could get, for that one roll you're shaving, you could get 6 more rolls.
Oh, spoiler! Not even it's not even a spoiler. I don't know why I said that. A lot of people don't know there's a part I'm gonna go for. There's actually a few parts I'm gonna go for. If The Last Kingdom.
Oh yes,
So
that's
if
a
they have
great
it,
show.
right now they're filming season 4. If they have a season 5, I'm going for a role.
Like auditioning for it, or you already?
Yeah, they film in Hungary, so I'm going to be flying out to wherever they need me to be. I'm gonna audition for them.
That's a great show too. I like that.
But even more importantly, what most people don't know, especially for the nerd world, they're making Lord of the Rings. Before what we know as Lord of the Rings, before like in the second
Like a
age.
Middle
Like the
Earth,
Silmarillion?
Yeah, no.
Or
No, they're making a TV series on Amazon.
what?
Yeah.
So
I saw that.
Amazon, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, where would it fuck, bought $250 million rights to make 5 seasons.
For Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
They better not fuck this up. I'll be pissed. You gonna try
Oh,
for that too?
I'm 100% trying for that. I'm gonna swing for the fuck.
You might as well.
My dad always told me you miss high, you shoot high, you miss high. So I have nothing to lose. If I don't get on, I don't get on.
Yeah, well, try again. Try again with the next one.
Okay, then we gotta get into jujitsu and rolling around and you not muscling the fuck out of me anymore. And how you guys started into that. Oh yeah, this guy, the first time I rolled with him, and we were at Pariah. We were up there on
I
I'm like,
suplexed you and you liked it.
no. So, I'm all of 170 pounds at the time, like, little scrawny guy, and I've been fighting at Team Rock out at Bragg before I came here, and I got here, and he's like, oh, you do MMA? I was like, yeah, I like jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, you should come check out this gym. I was like, cool. I was like, you're like 3 times my size, you 280-pound monster, but yeah, let's roll. He's like, I won't muscle you, I'll just use technique. Slapped a fucking sweet armbar on him. I was like, I got it. And I just remember my body raising up off the ground. I'm like, where am I going? What is this? It's about to be entered into me, a demon named Milligan.
Yeah.
But, yeah, how'd you get started in that? Like, where did you start with your jiu-jitsu career?
Oh man, I did a long time ago. I remember as a kid watching UFC, like back in like what, 96?
Yeah.
Watching the old school dudes like Matt Hughes, Jeremy Horn, probably one of my favorite fighters of all the time, Pat Miletich, and I was from Iowa, so there was a huge thing in the Quad City area. The Pat Miletich fighting system,
Yeah.
the training camp and stuff like that, and I just said, I want to do this. This is one day I just said I want to do it.
That's how.
Because I lived in Iowa, I was good on my hand, like good on my feet and with my hands and using my legs, and I kept getting my ass whipped because obviously stand up does not match up to groundwork, and it showed.
Loading.
I can't.
That was a preloaded question. This is where you go ahead.
Rob, do you?
No, we're gonna
You look like you had something you wanted to say.
We'll get to it.
And I did it for a really long time, and I did a lot of through my military career. I did a lot of like when I was in Germany, stationed in Germany. I did a bunch of tournaments out there. Just a very learning process, a very humbling process of just getting your ass whooped all the time.
That's like your entire white
all
belt
the time.
career.
Like I'd be good, and I was like, man, I'm not too bad, and then someone was like within like 10 seconds. Like I outweighed them by a lot.
Yeah, I was telling one of my students like, when will I get good at jiu-jitsu? I'm like, I'll let you know when I do. When I get good at jiu-jitsu, I'm sitting at brown belt and I'm still like, maybe one day. Who knows?
The first the good example, I forget the big dude's name, but when Royce Gracie had this rivalry with the big dude.
Oh, Ken Shamrock?
No, before
Dan
that.
Severn.
Dan Severn. That's it. The dude, Dan Severn was 260 pounds and Royce Gracie was 170. And he whooped his ass.
Yeah.
Royce Gracie whooped Dan Severn's ass. Like, I mean, that was also back when there was no time limit.
Yeah.
It was
No,
as
no
long
time
as you
limit,
want.
no
They had like
rules.
a 30 or a 40-minute match one time.
Yeah, and that
And you
is
grab
the,
hair,
and the
punch
reason
people
why
in
they
the
did
nuts.
that is so that way you
Bougie
can see it
soul.
in the most raw setting with a minimal amount of rules. Because anybody could be like, okay, so I got this martial art, but here's all these rules. So when they were doing the UFC, there's actually a big conspiracy from the karate dudes. They're like, they only fought dudes that were easy. I'm like, I don't think Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn would approve of being easy. Like, they're like, they didn't fight any real cool high level black belts. I'm
I was
like,
like, Ken
Chuck Norris got beat up and he trained under the Gracies. That was your guys' champion. What are you talking about? But yeah, so they wanted those no rules Valley 2 formats that way.
And obviously weight classes didn't matter either.
And they could have used Rickson Gracie, which is like he's like the according to Gracie's and most people you ask, he's like the best of the best. But he's
Even
kind of
over Royce?
yeah, he's like, but he's a bigger guy. He's a little bit more muscular. And he looks a lot meaner. He's got he's all ripped up. Even now, he's I don't even know. He's older and he's still ripped up.
Because Hoist was the smallest.
Yeah,
of the
Hoist
right?
was small. So if you put Rickson in there, like, oh, that guy's he's just strong. He's that's why. But when you put Hoist in there, he's the little one. He's tiny. That embodies the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Like, hey, you know, we use
Doesn't matter your
technique. Yeah,
size.
we'll use our technique can beat anybody. So
UFC 1 when he went against Ken Shamrock when Hoist pieced him up in like a couple of minutes. Wasn't
yeah,
very long at all.
and that was the purpose behind it. But they had been doing that in Japan for years. If you guys ever get a chance to watch it, go on YouTube and watch the documentary Choke, and you'll see it was. I think.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's basically every year Japan would hold a Vale Tudo tournament, and they would bring guys from all over, and every single person that they do in that they follow in that tournament, they like follow each competitor. Even though it's about Rickson Gracie, they follow each of the competitors, and every single one of them was like, I got to beat Rickson Gracie, you know, the American kickboxer. He's like, we're gonna find him. We got the tools to take him down. Well, spoiler alert, that guy ended up being a coach for the Olympic boxing team. He didn't take him down. I'm not gonna tell you how it all goes down, but just
Do you remember the dude that came out? It was the same UFC 1 when Hoist beat up Shamrock. He came out with one boxing glove
yeah,
on.
Oh, yeah.
was it
Old black dude.
Art? Well, I think his name is Art. But yeah, he still trains people. If you hop on UFC Fight Pass, there's Where Are They Now? And they did one for him.
Really?
And he literally walks around with one glove on. And they call him One Glove. Come here, bro. And he trains people at the UFC Fitness Center in one of the cities, I think, in California. But yeah, no, he that infamous fight propelled him to his current place in life. Yeah, and he was talking about it, he's like, I don't really know what I was doing. He's like, they didn't really explain the rules to me. I was like, But it often makes you wonder, what if that was another boxer? What if it was like Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson never would have dreamed of. He was making too much money back then.
Yeah, no, he would have never
But
took over.
just imagine if that. Would we have been making the same jokes if that?
No, he'd have killed
he
somebody
would have
with a
hit
right hook.
somebody with that, just boom, body shot, like crumple, like oh man. It's just sometimes I think about that. I'm like, which is funny because nowadays, you know, Mike Tyson's after all the shit he went through and all the craziness and you know jail and everything else, he's now more humble and comes from a different place now. You know, people change. And nowadays he's like, man, those guys would have killed me. And I'm still like,
Like, you hit
this humble you, which I saw a video of him moving and showing guys his technique. He still moves pretty good.
Yeah, at the bar.
But yeah, he was like, but I was like this. I was like, I don't believe you, sir. I think maybe not everybody, but quite a few of these mugs would have been like, body shot, crumple.
You know why?
What?
Even he knows that stand-up can't match up to.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Okay.
Well, all right, so you have something?
I was gonna go in and be like, "Are you still training? You're like, what belt are you now?" But fuck you, you're taking the gloves off.
So we have, for those of you that can't see, maybe our listeners, we have Rob Ward. He prefers stand up. I'm probably because his ground isn't that good, but what about that statement upset you, Rob?
Okay, so it's two-sided because every fight starts where? Standing. Rarely will you ever be like, "Hey, buddy, we're just gonna lock up real quick. We're going to the ground." Like, no, it's usually like somebody a pushing fest or something like that. "Hey, fuck you, guy. Fuck you, pal." Bop. And you stand
Okay,
there
you're
and fight.
talking about street fights.
Yeah, just like regular fights. Anything. Well,
Gotcha.
in the ring. Look what happened to Ben Askren when he was going to try and use his ground game. Night, fucker. See you next week. You get knocked out, there's no ground game. Somebody's going to finesse you in the face standing up. That's like, say you're a black belt on the ground and I'm the equivalent, it's stand up. And I give you one piece right in the jaw, like right on the button, boom, you're sleeping. Ground game's null and void. What are you going to do? Z him to death?
No, I understand where you're coming from. Like, but with every stand-up guy, or every ground guy, you get to have a good, good counter, good blocking, strike blocking.
So in order
Just
to be on
like-
the ground, you have to know some stand up.
Well, sure. Just it's same thing with stand-up. In order to survive a ground guy, you got to have a good takedown defense. Look at Chuck Liddell. He was actually really good on the ground, but he had such a good takedown defense that it didn't fucking matter back in his prime.
Well, that and he had a fucking Superman punch and a spinning back fist that just blew people's heads off.
Well, he knocked more people out running backwards than anything.
Yeah.
He just had
His
just
counter
very-
punching and timing for his time there was no match. At that time, there was only one man who could destroy him at any given time, and that was Quentin Jackson. Quentin Jackson beat him up in Pride when UFC went over to Pride, and then when Quentin Jackson came to UFC, he beat him again. I was like, oh man. But yeah, that was up until that, Randy Couture was like the closest you could get to touching that dude.
Yeah.
And even then, he beat Randy twice. Like
Tito got him once.
no.
Well, no, technically he got him twice with that garbage ass retirement fight.
Yeah, no, the retirement fight was the only one that Tito won. Like they're actually doing a documentary about how Tito and Chuck used to be friends, and then they went from that to Chuck just beating the brakes out of him up until they got to their age now.
60 years old.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Which is I don't know if you guys remember this. A couple of years ago, when John Jones was like dominating, Chuck Liddell's like, "You better hope I don't come out of retirement and snatch that belt." I was just thinking like,
No.
you got killed by Quentin Rampage Jackson, and Jones choked that dude out within 3 rounds. You don't want that smoke. Like that is not the right answer, sir.
Not 205.
No, you do not. No, Chuck.
I'm surprised you didn't hit me with the every fight winds up on the ground speech. I really thought you were.
You already knew it.
Pull that
You knew it.
I was waiting for it. I was
No.
just fucking rebuttal.
I'm just saying skill when it comes to like fighting skill, actual fighting skill. You take an MMA guy versus a boxer. Unless you can knock him out, most likely the ground guy is going to win that fight. The probability of that ground guy is going to win.
Yes, I'll agree to that.
Did you
Okay.
agree?
Hold on. This is where that that
I'm talking about
comma,
probability. Okay, you take the Gregor fight, and you take the Gregor and
Khabib?
no, the
Mayweather?
Mayweather fight. If it was a free all fight, Gregor's gonna win that.
Oh yeah, Conor would have killed Mayweather on that.
So it doesn't matter. So you can agree now.
Well, that's because of kicks also, which is still striking in stand-up.
McGregor wouldn't need to. He wouldn't even
wouldn't
waste
need
the
that.
time. He
He
would
wouldn't waste the
literally take him down and choke him out.
So if skill for skill, ground game, I think will always take it. Because like Robbie Lawler, another great fighter from my area, his very first loss came from I think Kenny Florian or something.
Kenny Florian, yeah.
He went like this. Lucky. You can't get lucky. I mean, you can get lucky in ground and in grappling, but not lucky like finishing lucky like you can in standing up. Like you put your head down and you can swing, you can knock someone out. That's not skill. That's just fucking you getting lucky.
There's
Right.
still some skill to it because you gotta have that. You have to know how to put power.
I've
into
seen
it. You
enough
gotta
YouTube
know-
videos that people can get lucky.
Okay, bumps on the street. Yeah, with a glass jaw.
Anybody, any fight. Like I've seen
You just have
fights
a weak.
where-
You just have a weak spot. You just someone like doing that and just.
Okay, I don't see Chris Hemsworth knocking out anybody after those punches he was throwing.
I'm just saying, if he hits someone in the right button,
Yeah.
you hit someone's button, you can get lucky.
I can't argue because I've
You
seen
get on the
people go
ground,
and
it
faint.
takes nothing but skill and technique to put someone away.
Hold on. Not really. You've seen white belts tap out white belts with some bullshit just squeezing on their face right here. They like it just hurts. Just tap that.
But
We're
That's
talking
all-
at the professional level, though.
Anyway, that's a whole different issue. That's no pain tolerance. Like I used to chuck people out, like they try to tuck their chin, and I just fucking crank. And like I don't like it. This is a dick move.
That's how me and Anthony fight all the time.
Yeah, no, he literally tries all these evil, darkness, nonsensical moves, and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm old. I'm gonna try this little sneaky move here. Oh, Kimura, no, okay, all right, we'll try again later.
God, you held on to that Kimura for every piece of shit. Anyways.
All right,
We're gonna step
so
away from this.
yeah, we'll move on to the next section. Are you
So the results is I was right.
No, god damn it.
You let us know in the comments below,
Yeah.
and we'll
Ground versus stand up. What was the probability of what's gonna win? And next subject.
Video games, actually. We're swinging for the fences, coming off a little bit right here, because I know you told me prior you used to love playing video games. You were super into
I
it.
was all about video games. I just don't have. It's not part of my 24 hours anymore. It's just not. But go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, what genre, like, what games that if you had the time, like, say you're
Best. This is a bold statement. Best video game series of all time. For me, growing up. Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, that is a good one.
Good
Oh,
story.
yes.
Great characters.
Still going.
Is it really?
Well, there's might be one coming out sometime in the next year and a half, 2 years, but yeah.
That's part of the actual main story?
Mhm.
Shut the front door.
I heard something about it. I'll have to look into it more, but yeah.
But no, is this when I was 10 years old when that first one came out, I know there's other ones for like back in the 80s and everything.
Yeah, the old.
Old.
Yes.
But Shadow Moses Island it was an awesome upbringing. I grew up with that game. It was just something that always remained a part of me.
You got emotionally attached to that game too, and then there was like, it was like you
Yeah.
hated it when Snake died because Snake, and fucking screaming at him like, no, come back.
Or when you have to, the very first one, you have to choose, saving Meryl or letting her die.
Yeah, and then it was always like dick down no matter what. When you picture it, well, that fucking sucks either way. Do you remember the Revolver guy from 3?
Yeah, Revolver Ocelot.
Oh, God, that was my favorite bad guy.
Well,
Fucking
Revolver Ocelot is actually one of the main first characters. He's been up through all of them.
Yeah, but like when he went bad on 3, when he had the army and all that shit. You know what I'm talking about? In the ship? That was 3, right?
No, that's 2. That's Sons of
Was it 2?
Liberty.
Okay, then it was 2.
Sons of Liberty. That's Revolver Ocelot. He's actually the one from the first one.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
He's a bad guy.
He wasn't the main protagonist though. In the first one?
No, he's not the protagonist. He's the antagonist.
Or yeah, sorry. But anyways, fucking. What other ones did you play? Did you ever play Zelda? What do you think of Zelda?
I actually never played Zelda.
I only played it for Game Boy.
Really?
I was too busy playing Metal
Was
Gear.
it this one with the seasons and the time, like those ones? I played those ones. There's one where you can change the seasons, and one where you can go to the past.
Yeah, it's
Link to the Past,
Ocarina of
maybe?
Time.
Yeah,
Yeah, like for 64.
I played it for Game Boy Color.
You watch Twitch or anything? Like other of course, my channel.
Ruthless Rob, I had been watching that guy. This little shout out there.
No horror games or anything?
Horror games, Resident Evil.
Classic.
Do they have any of those coming out recently?
There's about a billion.
Yeah, there's
There's a shitload, but I
They,
mean,
they just came out with one not too long ago.
I wonder if they're
I think it's Resident Evil 2. It was a new version of Resident Evil 2. All I know is they had Mr. X running around. And like, there's a glitch where like 7 Mr. X's will start chasing you and stuff. So
That sounds terrible.
yeah, no, like people are shooting rocket launchers at him, and he just gets back up. It was like, well, that doesn't sound fun at all.
So, best platform in your opinion? Like, Xbox.
Ooh, yeah, I
PlayStation,
know.
PC.
Okay, so honestly, they both have their pros and cons.
Hold up, before you finish that, any generation. So you can go all the way back to
you put a knife and just
Coleco,
twist it,
yeah.
you piece of shit.
Coleco all the way to present.
I mean, I know a lot of the Super Nintendo games. There's a reason why those things are expensive as fuck right now. But like, Super Mario World and stuff like that, the super classic games like that are always going to be high priority.
Always fun to go back and play around.
Yeah, but honestly, going back to what I know what you're trying to say, I mean, obviously those games can't really match up to the quality to like visual content. They just won't never match, PS4 or Xbox One X.
PC.
I've never played PC, so I can't get on that level. But for those console wise, I would say visually, PS4 is gonna be better, and then but you also have their own brand of all their games for that.
Yeah.
God of War. And
God of,
they have
yes,
their own-
that Viking one they just came out with.
But my whole life I was always Sony, and then everyone in the army they had a fucking Xbox. So I was like, I'm getting an Xbox One, fuck it, and then
You just wasted your life away in the army playing Xbox One.
yeah, and then I had to upgrade to Xbox One X because it's a thing.
So speaking of the Vikings part on God of War, did you ever see that? Did you see that? What they did with that? They made it like it was Norse mythology based God of War.
I heard something about that.
It's pretty kick-ass, and the way they put a twist on well, spoiler alert. The way they put the twist on it is God of War, the dude I can't remember his name.
Kratos.
Kratos, yeah. He ends up there. the whole time they're foreshadowing it for him to be Tyr.
Really?
Yep, because he loses.
God of War.
Yep, and he uses his hand, loses his hand, and all that stuff. Like sacrifices it to Fenrir, all that good business in there. So they took some bits of like lore and put it in there, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But then the world started was just really dumb. And but anyways, speaking of Norse mythology, we'll just spin off video games and get into some more interesting stuff on that. How'd you get into Norse mythology? Have you just always been that way, or are you like?
No, man. As you can see, I'm very blue-eyed, blonde, dirty blonde, hairish, very
Dirty
Viking.
emphasis.
I started getting into Viking reenactment because I saw a documentary called "To Go Viking" and I'm just like, holy fuck, that looks cool. It's actual like Civil War reenactment, except for reenacting the Viking Age. Like, but it's actually competitive combat with real weapons, just not sharp weapons. And no, it's not fucking LARPing. It's not foam with fireball. Nothing like that. So don't say that shit.
They have some brutal fights in that shit, man.
If you do Eastern style, that's full contact and people get fucking hurt badly.
You're getting hit with a legitimate battle axe. It's just dull. It's not gonna lacerate you. You're still gonna bust your fucking noodle.
I've been stabbed by a spear and that broke my fractured my collarbone. I've been hitting an axe in my hip, chipped my hip. And I've busted many things. And I don't even do Eastern style. I do Western style where we're like pulling our blows. We're not trying to hurt each other.
You're still making contact. It's
Yeah.
just,
So for what we have, so anywhere that you see my shirt besides the collarbone and head, you can hit like between the shoulder and the elbow and where my pants are, and so nothing below the knees and nothing below the elbow. No hands. We wear hand protection and we wear a helmet.
there was one I saw a post. It was on Instagram about like it's just a full-on fight. I can't remember where I saw. I think it wasn't in Iceland. Where was it? Somewhere, but it's a big competition. They have teams set up for.
Yeah,
either side.
that's Volin. That's Volin. It's in Poland.
Okay,
And that's
what-
full Eastern fight, and that's Jonsborg versus the world. Jonsborg is one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, Viking reenactment group in the world. They have like the Black Wolves out of Texas, and they have they're spread out everywhere. In the
And they
United
just
States.
legit beat the shit out of each other, right?
Yep. They're actually trying.
looks so badass.
They're
It's
actually
fun as hell.
trying to win, and they're doing it at any mean, like full on fucking fuck you to the head.
Yeah. Anybody died from that?
Probably.
Fucking
I'm not joking. They probably have.
big old fucking Viking
But
sword in the dome.
To go back to what the original statement was, because of that, you just naturally gravitate towards like, why did my ancestors do what they did? And a lot had to do because they believed in Thor, and because the whole reason of the Viking raids is because their land fucking sucked.
Yeah, they couldn't grow
They
shit.
couldn't grow shit, so they had to go make land, take land somewhere else they could actually grow, and that was Ireland and England. And also because of the culture, because the firstborn son got everything.
Yeah, like
All dad shit, like land, farm, everything. So the second son had to go find his riches,
raiding
go take
and
it,
shit.
go raiding.
We were talking briefly about it and how you say Ragnar is made up of many people.
Yeah, I think from a lot of historians, there's stories and stuff and everything, but Ragnar Lothbrok, which actually means Ragnar Hairy Britches. They think from all the stories that they have about him, it's actually a bunch of people put into one warrior, and that the people that are actually we know for real is Bjorn Ironside. He's an actual person. They actually found his gravesite. Ivar the Boneless is a real person. Rollo was a real person.
A lot of the Viking descendants in Russia came from Rollo's bloodline, didn't there? Something like that? Wasn't there?
A lot of French people.
Yeah, that was it. Not
French. Because Normandy, the word Normandy means Northmen. It was because the Northmen fucked up Francia. Like, fucked them up.
Yeah. Hi, we're gonna take over and fuck every one of you.
I mean, if you have German, French, English, which includes Scottish, Irish,
Irish, yeah.
you have Viking blood. Like it's just you'll have it in there. Especially if you're Scandinavian.
You know, if you're fucking from there. Too.
That's just a given.
So, talking about Norse mythology and Vikings and stuff, the gods. Do you have like a favorite or somebody like you look to for wisdom on it? I knew you were gonna say Tyr. I knew it was gonna be Tyr.
From I'm an ambassador for Descendant of Odin. Shout out. And I put this on every time I go into like my reenactments. I'll put it on my head. I'll put it behind my ear or something. And it's Tyr, the god, god of war, god of badassness.
The bravest god.
Well, it depends. Sure, bravest god. I mean, if you have a giant ass wolf and you're like, all right, knowing he's gonna bite your fucking hand off, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Fenrir story, which is an awesome story. I love that story. The how they made the ribbons, or the dwarves made the ribbons of the.
Well, they eventually got to the ribbon, and he's like, I'm not gonna waste my time with this fucking ribbon. I broke these giant shackles before. You think a ribbon's gonna stop me?
Yeah.
But it was a fucking magical ribbon, and that's binding Fenrir. I mean, I think there's a band even called Binding Fenrir now.
Is there?
Yeah, I think so. And speaking of that, if y'all are watching, I don't know when this is going to be edited or not, but tomorrow night, Mordruna is at Red Rocks.
Really?
Yeah.
How much is that?
Oh, look at it.
Go use Google.
So, do you remember what all the
150.
okay, the fucking band was made out of that held Fenrir? What was it? The sound of a cat's footsteps, the breath of a fish.
Some weird shit.
There was
Like breath of a child.
no, it was the breath of a fish, the sound of a cat's footsteps. I fucking can't remember the rest of it.
An old lady spit. Something
Yeah, it was
dumb. I mean, don't get me wrong. Norse mythology and it's not even religion. It's stories, and they're badass fucking stories. And when people are like, well, what about Astro and Odinism? Here's the hard truth. The shit was made up in the 70s.
What? Oh, the Odinism and all that shit.
Yeah. It was made up in the 70s, and it was based off some Icelandic dude that wanted to recreate because we on a like I can't even fucking say it.
Archaeological.
That's the one level they don't know how they actually practiced.
Yeah, well, they didn't have a real language other than ruins, and it's hard to write.
And they didn't write
history.
shit down, and
Yeah.
it's basically it's hundreds and hundreds, centuries of playing telephone. And honestly, in the sagas, we got into consideration, take it with a grain of salt because it was all written by Christians.
Yeah, it was monks mostly that were like they
Yeah.
had been fucked up by them, and they're like, today these guys whooped our ass. This guy, one of them was named Ragnar, and he was screaming Odin's name. Don't know what that is.
Yes, you will find Ragnar in sagas and stuff like that, but guess what? How many Roberts are there in the fucking world? How many Anthonys are in the world? A lot.
Just one. I only know me. But.
And then I guarantee there's more than one Ragnar. Doesn't mean it was the Lothbrok.
Lod, whatever.
Lod.
Vikings.
The show?
No. I was like getting into memorabilia and stuff like that. I seen you with some badass shields. How do you get them? Where do you get them?
I make them.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you make your shields like the ones on set and stuff that you're using up there?
Everything that you see me in my reenactment is made by either me or someone I know.
The axes, the swords.
Yep.
Really?
Every single one of them.
Man, okay, so I'm gonna talk to you about that when we get off of here.
I mean, I was gonna say, if you're really into this stuff, you can I have a reenactment group called Skullbike, and we're a sister group to a really big group called Skullborg, which hosts North America's largest Viking reenactment in North America.
I need to look more Viking first. I'm working on it, but
He can be a Viking. We don't discriminate shit.
really?
It doesn't matter. You don't need to be blonde hair, blue eyed, and all that fucking. Because in the culture today, white supremacists use that as a cover for their own bullshit agenda.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Like in the prison systems and outside the prison systems, they use that shit, and it pisses a lot of us off because they use Facebook. Well, certain runes are used by these supremacist groups.
I saw something like that, and I was like, it's a fucking ruin.
If you post it, as like a religious thing, they will ban you. You will go Facebook jail in a heartbeat.
I've been because I put up like the all the major runes and like easy translations and stuff just for neatness. I put it on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. I'm surprised I haven't been banned.
It all depends on which one. I'll show you which one. I mean, honestly, the Nazi swastika.
It was a rune.
It's a rune.
Or yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I guess it didn't just disappear.
No, but like you can be in Skullbite. You can be black. You can be transgender. It doesn't matter. We don't discriminate at all. We have 2 rules: love the culture that we're trying to appropriate, and no drama. You can join.
It's pretty cool.
That actually sounds pretty fun.
Hey.
Well, you want to do any more shout outs? Anybody say anything else we missed or didn't cover?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to tell people how to get a hold of your group, or we can put the link in the description below. And
Yeah, go on Facebook and look up Skaldvik. That's SKALDVIK. And you can also go to Instagram, Last Irish Viking, and you'll follow me. I'll follow you back, and you comment. I'll always comment back. Or you can go to Heather Nikki New. I'm all over her page also. That's my girlfriend. Yeah, that's all I can really think of. And Skullvik Vikings at Gmail. You can also email us there, and we'll get a hold of you. And honestly, we also with Skullvik, we're not only just reenactment. We're actually an entertainment group. We do Norse theater.
Really?
Heather and I, we do partner acrobatics. We recreate saga stories, and to the music of Wardruna, Heilong, Danheim, stuff like that. And it's really badass. Like our very first one we did it because we were in the Midsummer Scandinavian Festival in Estes Park, and one of our routines is that my buddy Jake and I were fighting, and he ends up killing me, and 3 Valkyries come out and they resurrect me, and I take interest in one of the Valkyries, which is my girl Heather, and we do partner acrobatics where we do hand balancing, and
You posted pictures of that too, right?
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like,
and it's all done. It's very, very powerful. I'm talking about like powerful enough where like people are crying in the audience.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's good shit.
Damn.
And we'll be there in next year in June, and then we're also gonna be, because right now we have like 20 active members, and we got another 30 prospects, and so what we want to do, yeah, we just started in June.
Ooh.
And we're just starting off. Yeah, we're collecting a whole bunch of people, but we're having to kick people out because they want to use this culture to propagate white supremacy. We don't play that shit.
That hurts my feelings because I love Norse mythology and Vikings and everything. I think it's the coolest fucking thing ever. And I'd seen something about a post like that, but I thought it was in like some other country or some other
No,
shit.
it's here. It's all over the world. It's all over social media, and it's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, badass. We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
But pretty sure. Well, thanks for tuning in, Nerdjitsu. Season 2, Episode 2 with Tyler Milliken, one of the most
Tyler Dean Milliken. I'm the only one in the world.
the last Irish Viking, right?
Yep.
Catch him on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook, business, and then just regular Facebook. If I should have room on there.
All right, cool, man. Well, fucking appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Don't forget, follow Ruthless Rob on Twitch. Streaming.
Dead by Daylight. We get some of that in there.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys.